The wish list, item 13. The last time Alfie had been creeping among the walkways and the girders up in the roof space of the Stocking Dot Christmas warehouse, it had been an adventure. He had been there as a visitor, led there by Nick Close, the hermit who lived up there, and it had all seemed like some mysterious magical world hidden away behind the everyday mechanics of commerce and transport. It felt different now. He was no longer a visitor after all. He had been banished from that everyday world, exiled up here to stay. He was going to have to find a way to live here in the roof. This was now his home. That world below, the weird world of the warehouse where robots trundled through the darkness, was still secret and strange, but it was also still part of that everyday world, its secret workings and strange realities. He no longer even belonged down there. One step on the warehouse floor, and the security systems would be alerted to him. The robots would hunt him down, the guards throw him out. Now he would have to live hidden, even from the hidden world. Secret, even to the secrets, overlooked by the overlooked. And yet still right in the middle of the everyday. That was the strangest thing. Here he was, walking over the top of the engine of the modern world, in the middle of the vast, unseen network that kept the global economy humming. He was in the heart of everything, and yet had no part in it. Fallen into the cracks of the world, living in the walls of the commonplace, or, in fact, in its attic. Well, living then is what he had to do. Which was why he was steadily making his way to the far corner of the warehouse towards the secret shelves where Nick Close stored his stolen supplies. It was darker down this end. There were fewer robots in the canyons of the shelves. The glow of their running lights, which travelled along between the dark bulks of the shelves, were few and far between. It made Alfie think of the natural history documentaries he had seen about the dark, abyssal depths of the ocean, lit only by the strange flickering lights of bioluminescent monstrosities. And head torches. He froze. Just the other side of a set of shelves, a torch had switched on. A steady, white light, completely unlike the flickering blues and reds and ambers of the robots. Also, the light was swinging back and forth in a way that robots absolutely didn't. The action of someone searching for something. For beans, as it turned out. A figure climbed up the shelves into sight and paused at the top, looking down and illuminating the tin of baked beans it held in its hand, with pork sausages in, Alfie noted. The silhouetted figure was evidently Nick Close. Alfie would have recognized his distinctive hunched posture anywhere. He couldn't let Nick see him standing there. He took what he hoped was a stealthy step backwards, trying to move back into the shadows. It was, it turned out, not stealthy enough. The walkway creaked under him, and the torch swung round, pinning him in its lights. He froze again, not sure of what to do. "Evening," he said, and waved. The torch snapped off, and then there was a whistling past his ears and a clang as a tin of baked beans bounced off a girder. Okay, maybe he shouldn't have waved. Alfie turned and, no longer quite so worried about being quiet, ran. Nick, though, he knew, was more accustomed to moving in the darkness of the warehouse roof, and he'd be right on his tail. He couldn't run forever. So why run at all? Alfie stopped, knelt, and then slid down between the railings of the walkway, letting himself down as gently as he could until, at full stretch, he could just feel the top of a shelf beneath his toes. He dropped onto it, trying not to make it creak too much, and pulling his sweatshirt hood over his head, lay face down on the top of the shelf, willing himself to be as invisible as possible in the darkness of the warehouse. Lying there, hardly daring to breathe, he listened to the walkways and rafters complaining around him. It could be Nick Close passing by. It could simply be the metal settling back after Alfie had run down it. It could just be the weather. A robot trundled past somewhere nearby. There was a skittering on the roof above that might have been a bird landing. He simply couldn't tell where Nick might be. He might be standing right there, waiting for Alfie to move, just as Alfie was waiting for him to move. He might have passed by and be long gone. He might never have followed him at all. Then Alfie heard it. Off in the distance, a high-pitched whine of an electric engine and the whir of rotor blades. And another, growing louder, growing closer. The drones. He knew there were drones in the warehouse, of course. He had seen all the news releases about how Stocking.Christmas was going to use them to deliver packages, and he had heard all the talk around the warehouse about how this was a lot harder than everyone thought, and that they were currently reduced to using them to keep pigeons out of the roof, but he had never seen them. But they had seen him. The whine was coming straight for him, cutting through the shadows, echoing off the tin roof. He scrambled to his feet. He could see their running lights off in the distance, getting closer. He hadn't realized how big they were. He looked up at the walkway above him in the gloom. The drones were too big to fit in between the girders up there. He could maybe reach it if he jumped, but could he really pull himself onto it, even if he could? Alfie had never been much of a gym rat. His upper body strength was enough for picking up cups of tea and turning the pages of books, and not much more. Down then. He peered over the side. He could climb down the shelves pretty easily, he thought, down into the depths of the warehouse, where there weren't just drones, but also security robots. Security robots that would also track him down and... Hold on. Track him down how? His security fob. The IT guy had said so himself, and Alfie still had it on him. It had been so drummed into him that he should never go anywhere without it, that he had not gone anywhere without it. He really did have to stop doing what he was told. That's how they were tracking him, by not tracking him at all, by tracking his fob. Alfie rolled and dropped down over the edge of the shelves, practically falling to the warehouse floor as he scrambled down. In front of him, he could just make out the corner of a line of shelves, lit from behind by a flickering blue light, one of the warehouse robots. He ran down the aisle and rounded the corner, practically slamming into it. It ignored him. This robot was a huge, hinged metal arm which was concentrating on lifting boxes down and placing them on a second robot that was little more than a motorized pallet. Alfie yanked off his lanyard and tied it around the arm's hydraulic cables, and then turned, stepping back into the darkness. Unconcerned, the robot dropped its boxes onto the carrier and then slid away, off to another task. And the drones followed it.